This is a little city park in Anchorage, and there is a nice running stream on the side of this trail. This trail is used by bicyclists. And this stream, there's some garbage in there, but there's a traffic cone. But the water is pretty clear. It runs pretty fast too. It's inside the city, so we can see structures and buildings, and there is a I think it's a school or something with the tennis courts right next to it. There's a little bird. Supposedly, Anchorage does not have very good crime rates. There are a lot of alcoholics, and there's a decent amount of crimes. And the economy of Alaska are basically supported by, first is the oil industry, oil extraction, particularly in the North Shore, in the Arctics. And then during the summer, of course, is the tourism. Tourism is a big part of Alaska. I don't think the third one might be fishing, because Alaska's the ocean near Alaska is rich in fish and other ocean animals. That's why we see a lot of orcas, a lot of whales, a lot of dolphins. But other than that, once it enters the winter, there's really nothing left. It's just the oil industry. And a lot of the workers here are migrants and transients. In other words, they are seasonals. They come here only during summer season to support the tourist industry, or they come in shifts to support the oil. I can't imagine anyone live here in the North Shore, in the Arctic, for years and years. They probably come here for a couple of years, make good living, good income, and then they go. Same goes with tourists. Even though Anchorage is so far north, because it is very close to the Pacific Ocean, and the ocean stream carries the warm water from the south, and then it turns back somewhere around here, and then go south along the Pacific coast. Because of that, the Alaskan ocean water temperature is not as cold, and that's the reason there's a rich resource in fisheries. So that's why I guess all of these big whales and dolphins migrate in this area to feed, and the salmons return every year to spawn. So this is probably similar to the situation in the North Sea, where the United Kingdom is at, where Britain is at, because Britain is very, very, very north. But the climate there is quite temperate. It's not as harsh. Of course, in Alaska, the temperature, the climate is harsh inland, like in Fairbanks or even north, or in Yukon. But Yukon, of course, in Canada. But around here is generally less harsh. Consider the latitude it is at. There are a lot of waterfowls in here. Whoa, a lot of ducks.
I want a backpack.
这俩小女孩 came this way. That's like cross-country skiing in the summer. Yep. Cross-country skiing in the summer. This is a shallow estuary. From further out is the bay of Anchorage, I suppose, and that's the North Pacific, the edge of the North Pacific. So it's likely the water here is brackish. It's not pure fresh water. These young people doing summer training for cross-country skiing. Ooh, that beagle is in the water. This is the monument for Captain Cook, one of the most famous navigators during the Age of Discovery. Captain James Cook. He lived from 1728 to 1779, just after the United States was formed. So he made the first voyage of exploration to Australia and Tahiti and New Zealand in 1768 to 71. On his second voyage, 1772 to 75, he came to Antarctica, that's the South Pole and the South Pacific. In 1776, on his third voyage, his flagship is called Resolution. That's why this park is called Resolution Park. He is trying to find a northwest passage from Pacific to Atlantic. He surveyed the coast of Northwest America and Alaska, but failing to find the passage to Atlantic, turned south from the Bering Strait, sailed to the Sandwich Isles, where on the island of Hawaii he met his death. That's where he was killed by the Polynesians. And so the northwest passage at that time was important because they could go from Europe, say from the North Sea, through the Arctic Ocean and the passage to, say, South America, or North or South America. But the Northwest Passage later, of course, was through the Hudson Bay in eastern Canada. And that passage, as we know it today, is generally ice-locked during the winter. So the passage is extremely hard to go through, and it depends on the year of the time, on the time of the year. But with the global warming, it is entirely conceivable one day the Northwest Passage may remain ice-free year-round. If that's the case, then the Arctic Ocean will become a major transoceanic cargo route, and this is also why Russia is staking a claim to the Arctic Ocean right now, and of course so will Canada and United States. The mud flats in front of me must be due to the rising and falling tides. When the tide is high, it will probably submerge this mud flat, and I see somebody walking on it, and for that reason I guess the flat is not very solid. It's muddy and mushy. This train goes to the harbor. Goes to the harbor, I suppose, then it will go inland. Alaska Rail. It's probably a very regional rail line. It does not look like it's for long distance. Only have one engine. When we travel in the Midwest, not in the Midwest, travel in the West, in like New Mexico or Arizona, you often see these trains with 5 or 6 engines in the front, pulling, must have been 200 cars, a couple of miles long. It's a massive payload, and they could do that. This is the summer in Anchorage, Alaska, on a sunny day with a backdrop of these snow-capped mountains and blue skies and freshwater lakes and lush green surroundings. It's a beautiful area. The temperature right now is probably about the lower 70s. Very comfortable. Light breeze and very nice. And that's why I see there are a lot of people outdoors. Just stay outdoors. I guess for Alaskans, this is the best time of the year, because in this part of the States, Anchorage, it's about 18 hours sunlight, 4 hours of darkness, 19 or 20 hours of sunlight, and 4 hours of darkness. And even darkness is not really truly dark. It's just like a dusk, because the sun is not really set. It's just below the horizon with a light grayish color, grayish sky. So in the middle of the night, in the later half of the night, you can still see the sky is grayish. It's lightly lit, not entirely dark. So for the past several weeks, while I'm traveling in this region, I have not experienced any true night. Every day is either bright sunshine, sometimes occasionally rain, but most of the time it's bright sunshine like right now, and then in the night the sky is still grayish. It's kind of like a heavily cloudy weather, but actually even the sky is not cloudy. It just looks like that way. People stretching in the park. It's a mini little park. This couple is pretty good. This for 2 pairs are pretty good.
That's it for the game. The win. For the win. Aces. Sir.
Middle.
That was so not fair.
This is Beluga Point, from Anchorage to Seward.